Congratulations on making it to episode number 2 in our Wormhole edition. In this episode, I'm going to talk all about defining sketches. Okay, so I want to start out by drawing a sketch. I'm going to go up to the top here and left click on Create, and then I'm going to left click on Create Sketch. I told Fusion that I want to sketch, and now I need to tell it where I want to sketch. I want to sketch on the top plane, so I'm going to select this plane at the bottom here. If I left click on that, I'm now sketching in the top plane. If I need to confirm what plane I'm sketching on, I can look at my view cube here on the right, and it indeed says top. So the next thing I want to do is I'm just going to draw a simple shape for this example. I'm going to just left click on this circle command here at the top. And this will draw a circle that starts from the center. So I'm just going to left click and let go to start the center of the circle. I'm going to physically drag my mouse out and then left click and let go, and that creates my circle. To get out of my circle command, I'm going to press the escape key on my keyboard. Okay, so if I want to define the shape, first I want to talk about what a shape looks like if it's not defined. So if I left click at the center of my circle and hold down my left key on my mouse, and then I physically drag my mouse around, I can actually move this circle wherever I want. And while this looks like a fun thing to do, later on it'll get you in a lot of trouble because you can accidentally deform your sketches and mess them up. So if you spend hours on a sketch, there will be a lot of tears involved, and I know that from personal experience. So I want to define my sketch. I want to define your sketch, you need two things. So the first thing that you need is you need to dimension your sketch. So the actual sketch that you've created. The second thing you want to do is you want to fix your sketch in space, meaning that it cannot move around. So we're going to work through that. The first thing I want to do is just define my shape. So I want to get into dimensions. There are two ways to get into two dimensions. I can left click and let go on create, and then left click here at the bottom where it shows sketch dimensions. Notice how you see this letter D on the right hand side of sketch dimensions, and that is a shortcut. So I could either press the D key on my keyboard to get into dimensions, or I can left click here and get into those dimensions. So to dimension a circle, you have to select the outer ring. So I'm going to left click and let go on the outer ring, and then I'm going to left click and let go on my mouse button. And that gives me the option to edit. I'm just going to select 2 inches. I'm in units of inches here. So far I just have my outer ring dimension. So I actually have the circle dimensioned. And this is the diameter of the circle. So let me check and see if I can move this circle around. So if I left click on the center of the circle and try to drag my circle, notice how it still moves, which is never a good thing when you're designing. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fix it in space. There's one quick way to not allow it to move, and that is to just fix it. If I right click on this outer ring, it gives these options that pop up. So right click and let go, and all these options pop up. And if I left click on this fix command, this will just turn green. And that's another way to define it using a fixed command. And typically your part will only turn green when you've activated fix. And so if I left click and try to move this center, it doesn't allow me to move. And that indicates that my object is fully defined. The more common way, I left click and selected that fix again. I right clicked and selected that unfix again. And so my part is no longer fixed. And if you notice, it can still dance around. So now I'm going to get back into my dimensions, and now I'm going to dimension it from the origin. So if I want to, as I'm drawing here, I'm sketching in 2 dimensions. So I can either sketch up and down, or I can sketch side to side. And so that means that I have to have 2 dimensions to fully define my object. So this is my origin here. I'm going to left click and let go at my origin, and then left click at my center circle here, and it gives me the option to dimension. I'm going to go ahead and dimension this to 2 inches from the origin. Okay, and if I try to drag my circle again, notice how it only gives me the options of going up and down. I cannot move this side to side. So it's actually fixed in one dimension. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to press my D key on my keyboard to get back into dimensions. I'm going to left click on my origin. Again, it's already selected this center circle. I'm going to left click and just select 2. And now my object has turned black, indicating that it is fully defined. So there you have it. Now you know what a defined object is, what you have to do to fully define it, and why it's important to define our sketches. So I hope you learned a lot in this lesson. Check out our next episode that's coming up soon, and I will see you next time. Bye.